Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the fourth installment of our webinar series. We have another great presentation put together for you today. My name is Misha Lalou, and I am the marketing specialist for DynaEnergetics, and I'll be the host for today's webinar. Our panelist today is Stefan Purcelean. Stefan has been with DynaEnergetics since 2017. As a product line manager, he is responsible for our conventional well perforating solutions. So Stefan, thank you for being on the call with us. Today, we are excited to announce the official launch of Igneo, an intrinsically safe initiating system for high temperature mining applications. So before we get started, I would just like to give you a quick outline of today's presentation. We will be discussing Igneo, the project itself, and then just giving you some background information. We'll talk about some of the challenges during the development phase. We'll be giving you a system overview, and then we'll conclude with talking about some of the system components. So throughout the call, if you have any questions, please type them in the Q&A function, which is located at the bottom of your screen. We will be monitoring all of the questions, and we'll be saving some time at the end to answer any of those questions that you have. So we have a lot of great topics we'll be covering for you today, so we're just going to jump right into it with our first question. So Stefan, Igneo is different from any other product DynaEnergetics has created in the past, and the development of this system really opens the door to an important new market for us. So can you give us some background on how the development of this new technology came about?
Hello, Misha. So Igneo is DynaEnergetics' first initiating system for open cut mining applications. The system is the result of 3 years of close collaborations with the team at Newcrest, Australia's largest gold mining company. Newcrest, after unsuccessfully reaching out to various contacts in the blasting industry due to the extreme high temperature requirements, approached DynaEnergetics for assistance in developing an initiating system that would safely perform in the extreme conditions of its Lihir gold mine. The Lihir mine is located in New Ireland province of Papua New Guinea, approximately 900 kilometers northeast of Port Moresby. Situated on an extinct volcanic crater, the mine is located in a geothermically active area, which makes it the hottest open-cut gold mine in the world. DynaEnergetics was effectively the last roll of dice for Newcrest on this line of inquiry, but our team was positive to take on this opportunity. Our vast experience in the oil field, where operating temperatures are often exceeding 150 degrees Celsius, and our continuous focus on technology and innovation put us in a good position to accept the challenge. The development of the high temperature electronic time delay detonator and initiating system started in July 2017. The product system got certified safe for use 2 years later and got authorized 3 months after that for use in New South Wales and Queensland in Australia and in Papua New Guinea. As I already mentioned, DynaEnergetics has an extensive experience with oil field explosive initiating systems. And this allowed us to build the Igneo system initiating system using our patented IS2 Intrinsically Safe initiating technology. The outcome of our converging efforts, it's a highly intuitive and reliable system that has been proven effective under the extremely challenging conditions of the Lihir mine.
Thank you for some of that background information. Before we move into the next question, kind of just a follow-up, you mentioned the term intrinsically safe. For those who might not be familiar with that term, could you just explain what it means?
So intrinsically safe, or shortly IS2, is DynaEnergetics initiating technology for oilfield applications that delivers leading improvements in safety and efficiency. So the system is built on a low voltage digital communication platform and allows the operators to continue with normal operations while the perforating equipment is lowered into and raised from the well. These detonators are immune to radio frequency, stray current, and stray voltage. So the same low voltage digital communication platform is used also for the Igneo initiating system.
Thank you for clarifying that term. I know it's a term that we use here a lot at DynaEnergetics, so it's good to just explain it to the audience who might not be familiar with it. So as this is a completely new type of system and project for us, I'm interested to hear about some of the challenges that arose for the DynaEnergetics team. So could you just talk about what we set out to do when starting this project? So any goals that we identified, and then just talk about how the team worked to solve any of the challenges that came about during development.
So DynaEnergetics' capability of building high temperature initiating system for the oil and gas industry put us in an advantageous position when it came to surmount the biggest challenge that Newcrest faced in this mine, the temperature resistance of the detonators. But this did not mean the development of the system was straightforward. We were working on something completely new for us, on something that we never did before. So one of the team's main challenge was not only the development of the detonator itself, but the development of the entire initiating system, including the firing panel and the programming and testing device. And all the equipment had to withstand the harsh environment of the lithium mine. So the initiation systems used in the mining industry are significantly different from the ones used in the oil field. So for example, the detonators are directly lowered into the blast holes using the detonator's wire, and may be exposed to rock impacts. This is something we do not see with our oilfield products. Also, the electrical connections are made on surface by clipping each detonator to a harness wire which runs on the ground in between the blast holes. Under these conditions, the chances of having small current leakages are significant. This is again something we do not see in the oilfield gun systems. The firing panels also need to deliver enough energy to initiate more detonators compared to downhole in the oilfield. Mm-hmm. So, as already mentioned, we based Igneo on DynaEnergetics' patented IS2 technology, and we adapt our existing know-how to overcome these challenges presented by the open-cut mining environment. So, our R&D team delivered an outstanding product in line with our oilfield IS2 technology, and without compromising neither on safety, reliability, nor efficiency. And the result of all this effort is an industry first. Igneo is the only available blasting system capable to withstand temperatures up to 150 degrees centigrade for up to 48 hours.
It definitely sounds like there were many challenges throughout the development process, but as you said, the results of that are an industry first, which is of course an amazing achievement for the whole team involved. So now I want to talk more about the specifics of the system, but having the background and the history of the product that you just provided has really helped kind of just paint that full picture, and I think will be important to know as we talk further about the design details and functionality of Igneo. So as we've mentioned, Igneo is a full system made up of multiple pieces of equipment. Can you give us an overview of the full system and then just walk us through each of those components or pieces of equipment?
So as you mentioned, Igneo, it's a complete system, but at its core, it stays the HTD150, the detonator, which is an electronic detonator designed to withstand temperatures up to 150 degrees centigrade, as already mentioned, for 48 hours. Mm-hmm. So like all our IS2 line of oilfield detonators, the HTD150 is immune to radio frequency interference, to stray current and stray voltage. The system also includes the Igneo digital firing panel, the Igneo programming and testing device, and the specially designed Igneo booster charge.
So the next few questions, I'd like to have you walk us through each of the system's components and explain their function, their features, and the benefits more in detail. So we can go through each one of them just one at a time. I think we also have some images to share. So if we could start with the detonator, could you just talk more in depth about this part of the system?
Yeah, so the Igneo HTD150 mining detonator is an intrinsically safe, temperature-resistant electronic detonator. The detonator is sealed inside the copper shell, and the shell has an anti-corrosive coating. The detonator can withstand temperatures up to 150 degrees centigrade and pressures up to 3 bars for as long as 48 hours. It has a user programmable time delay, which can be increased from 1 millisecond to 600 milliseconds in 1 millisecond steps. So the detonator is delivered with 10 meters, with a 10-meter long double-coated cable, and this cable is terminated with a clip connector for harness wires. The clip connector is very easy to use and is designed for harnesses with an inner core diameter of 0.6 millimeters. When we use together with the specially designed Igneo booster charge, our detonator can reliably and safely initiate blast holes without the need for sensitized booster emulsions. All the components of both the detonator and the booster charge are corrosion, temperature, and pressure resistant and can be used in high temperature and reactive ground conditions.
So before we go into the next question, I just want to quickly remind everyone that if you do have any questions for Stefan or specific questions about the Igneo system itself, just to please submit them through the Q&A function. And again, that's located at the bottom of your screen. And we'll leave some time at the end to address any of those questions. So getting back into the components, the next part of the system that I think would make sense to talk about next is the programming and testing device. So could you just explain to us some of the key features and functionality of that component?
Yeah, so as I previously mentioned, the Igneo HTD150 detonator has a time delay, which is user programmable. This means that the detonators are delivered unprogrammed from the factory. So in order to safely and securely program the time delay and test the HTD150 mining detonator, we developed the Igneo programming and testing device. The user can set up the blast pattern either manually directly on this device or in a more convenient way using a dedicated computer software on the connection. So on site, the programming of the time delay is performed directly after connecting each detonator tested while still connected to the harness, giving the operator the peace of mind that each detonator is correctly programmed and wired. We can connect a maximum of 50 detonators to the same harness to be checked together. The device is battery powered for unrestrained mobility. It has a sturdy design and a tough aluminum construction and can withstand even the most challenging mine site conditions.
So the last component to the system, like you mentioned, is the digital firing panel. So could you just provide us with details of how that works?
So the Igneo digital firing panel has been specifically designed to initiate DynaEnergetics high temperature resistant mining detonator. These detonators can be connected to the panel's 5 firing channels. So each customer has the choice to use either a wired or a wireless trigger to provide the firing signal to the panel. The trigger connects directly to the firing panel. Like the programming and testing device, the digital fire inside and easily transported, so it can withstand even the most challenging operating conditions.
Thank you for walking us through each of those components, and the images that you showed were also great supporting visuals. So now that we've gone over all the components individually, could you just explain how the components work together and what are their different configurations? And then if you could just walk us through the installation process and kind of explain how the system works.
So using the dedicated computer software, the person in charge of the blasting operation defines the blast pattern, and then using the USB connection, transfer the blast pattern to the Igneo programming and testing device. Once arrived on site, and then when all the detonators are connected, programmed, and tested, the harnesses are connected to the Igneo digital firing panel 5 firing channels. The trigger is then either a wired or a wireless trigger is then connected to the panel's trigger input. Once all the safety and operating conditions are met, the blast can be performed using the remote trigger. The digital firing panel can safely and reliably initiate up to 1,000 detonators or 200 detonators per each of its 5 firing channels.
Thank you so much for all the information you provided with us today. It was really interesting of Igneo. Is a new and exciting opportunity for DynaEnergetics, and so we look forward to continue working closely with the mining industry and to take on some new and similar challenges in the future.